Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Ronka and I love to talk about travel, career, and lifestyle. So please make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss all the good stuff. In today's video, I'm talking about affordable travel. Basically, bougie but budget. Traveling is an amazing thing, but it costs money. And being able to travel on a budget, or at least budget towards your travel, I think makes it a lot more attainable and a lot more sustainable when you decide to travel. Like any other thing in life that you spend money on, travel is one of those things that you can definitely budget towards. Now, when you think about budgeting towards travel, or if you already have a budget in mind and you're trying to fit your travel into your budget, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First things first, plan ahead. Planning ahead is the best tip possible. This allows you extra time to figure out the best times to go to wherever you want to go. There are some destinations that when they are in their peak season, they get extremely expensive. But if you were to go to the same destination during off season, it would be less expensive. If you have enough time, it's advisable to look up the destination and figure out when the off season is, and if off season is a time that you would be able to go. You know, when you plan ahead, it's great to use resources like Google Flights and even Skyscanner to see when the cheapest flights might be coming up for a destination you want to go to. But of course, do make sure to use incognito mode whenever you're searching. And of course, this is helpful if you are considering even staying at an Airbnb, right? If you have a particular Airbnb you want to stay at, you can plan ahead so that you know that Airbnb will be available. Now, the one thing I do want to call out is that even if you are traveling during the off season, please understand what off season means. If you're traveling to the Caribbean, make sure it's not during hurricane season, right? And for other locations where it might be the off season, make sure it's not going to be an extreme weather condition that you are not prepared for. The next tip is to be resourceful. When it is time to start booking for travel, there are so many resources out there. I already mentioned Google Flights and Skyscanner, but even aside from that, especially when it comes to finding discounts, deals, coupons, anything, you should check sources like Sam's Club and Costco and BJ's. These major warehouse clubs, they offer certain travel packages, certain vacation deals, specifically through them if you are a member that you can take advantage of. And the prices are pretty reasonable. I've actually looked in the apps myself just to kind of see what the prices are like compared to booking elsewhere, and some of the prices are actually pretty good. They also have sources like Groupon, where of course they have a lot of package deals that you can also take advantage of. You should also look at Rakuten to see if there's any offers for cash back when you're booking flights. And yes, this is a little bit different because it's not necessarily a discount, but it's cash back that you can earn towards future travel. You also should look directly at the airline or hotel in particular that you want to stay at. Sometimes hotels might offer lower fares if you book directly through them. So that's also worth it. Of course, check out like Expedia, Travelocity, you know, all these other resources that are out there. It's also worth looking at your credit card. If you have a travel reward card in particular, this could be the time where you use your points to pay for something. So you use your points to pay for the flight, you use your points to pay for a rental car, you use your points to pay for the hotel. This is a really good way to also help your budget, because if you're spending the points, you're not spending cash. Some credit cards do have preferred travel partners. With a preferred travel partner, that can mean that you're either getting a lower rate or that they're upgrading you. And if they're upgrading you, I mean, you're technically getting more than you pay for, right? So those are some helpful resources to use as well. The third thing I would suggest, if you're open to it, is traveling with a partner. And when I say travel with a partner, I mean travel with someone whose finances are not tied to yours. You traveling with like a young child is not traveling with a partner because you're still paying for everything. You traveling with your spouse is not traveling with a partner because that's y'all joint pocket. But if you're traveling with like a friend, or you're traveling with another family, or you're traveling with, you know, even a family member that is self-sufficient and you're self-sufficient, that may be a good way to offset travel costs. Now, of course, if you are taking a train, taking a plane, or even taking a bus, you definitely cannot split those costs. But if you're taking a rental car, you can split the cost of the car, you can split the cost of gas, you can split the cost of toll. You can also split the cost of accommodations, whether it's a hotel or Airbnb. So those are the type of things you want to keep in mind when you're trying to decide if you want to travel with someone. Now, of course, the amount that you save in accommodation depends on where you're trying to stay at. So there are definitely some places that you would go to where you may feel a lot more incentivized to travel with someone to offset the cost. And if you're considering getting a travel partner to offset costs, please make sure you watch this YouTube video that I've linked above about choosing travel partners wisely. In general, when you're trying to create a budget for your travel, for me, the most important thing is to figure out what is important to you. And what is important to you may actually change between trips. For me, there are certain destinations that I go to, and what's most important to me is to relax. Meaning, I'm looking more at my accommodation and food than anything else. Whereas there's some other locations I would go to where the experience is extremely important to me. Now, based on the type of person that I am, there's only but so much compromising I'm willing to do on my accommodation. But I'm willing to not go out to a fancy dinner every night so I can stay in a place that's decent, but still have really good experiences. You know, when you travel, you really want to think about what's going to be most important to you on that trip and then fix your budget accordingly. If you know that the most important thing to you is food, maybe you'll be fine staying in a hostel, and maybe you'll also be fine doing the bare minimum when it comes to activities. Just make sure that you determine what's most important to you. And I would say the 4 categories you should always keep in mind, at least that I do, when I travel and when I'm trying to budget for the travel: accommodation, transportation, food, and experiences. If these 4 things are covered, everything else is just kind of filler as far as I'm concerned. Because you got to eat, you got to get there, you got to stay somewhere while you're there, and you should try to do something while you're there. You know, travel is amazing, and as someone who has funded the majority of the trips that I've taken in my life, I understand how much of a privilege it is to travel. So I hope the tips I provided today will make it more feasible if you're in that space where you're starting to fund your own travel. Let me know down in the comments what your priority is in terms of food, transportation, accommodation, and experience. As always, please make sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel for more travel, career, and lifestyle content. See you next time.